Hey, are you a doula who wonders, how do I really get to know my clients and what their needs will be in birth? Well, this is the video for you. Hey there, my name is Victoria. I am a certified birth doula. Over the last 7 years, I have worked with families and I have tried many different ways to get information from clients. I've tried forms, I've tried just casual conversation and prenatal appointments. And today I'm going to show you the intake system that I currently use with every single client, and I really hope you're going to like it. So, and I think it's really important to say we're all a work in progress, right? This is the current iteration of my system at the time of this recording, but it might change in a couple months if I have new ideas come up or new needs. But right now, those that I'm using, and it works really well for me. And I'm excited to share my screen and show you. So as you'll see, I use HoneyBook. I am a huge fan of HoneyBook, and you can get a link in the description of this video if you want to try it out for yourself. They have a special deal for you there. And of course, it's an affiliate link, so I get a little thank you compensation from HoneyBook for telling you about it, but you get a really sweet deal too to try it out for yourself. So in HoneyBook, my questionnaire is under my templates. And here you'll see they have all types of different templates. I do use HoneyBook for all my invoicing, my contracts, my birth proposals, the contact forms that I send out, the packages that I put together. But today we're going to be looking at questionnaires, and this is what I currently use. So right now we are viewing it as if we are editing it. Of course, if a client gets this, that's going to look different. It won't have all of that extra stuff around it. But this is the form. I really like how you can even customize the photo of it. I might even do that right now because I recently got some new branding pictures. And I noticed that I don't have some updated pictures in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. um, Look at that. You've got, kind of a nice little prenatal conversation happening. I might go ahead and just update that picture. Um, so let's see the questionnaire. I, have a little intro. Things. This is, I have a sequence where people get like a whole fresh new email from you when they're a new client, and includes a lot of different pieces of information they need. The link to this questionnaire is one of them. So that's kind of why that language starts like, I'm so excited you're in this community. We're gonna, have a great time working together. I know I hate filling out forms myself, so I try to reference that fact that I know you're gonna have a lot of forms through your pregnancy. I really hope this one isn't boring. And of course, the reason for sharing this information with me is so I can help you have the best birth possible. So of course, I usually ask partner's name and relation. I found that's really important over the years. Of course, never assume the connection of people. Don't assume if they're married or not married or anything like that. Just let the client tell you who's going to be supporting you in birth, how are they related to you, home address, and then if different, mailing address. Because I send a welcome packet to my clients. I have a blog post about the welcome packet that I use. I'll include that in the description as well. And then I asked for both phone numbers. So I want the pregnant person's phone number and the partner's phone number. And then in my phone, I'm an iPhone user. So I have both of those numbers on my favorites, like emergency bypass. I found that's really helpful. Never assumed, of course, that the person in labor is going to be able to have a conversation with you. So I get both the pregnant person and the partner. And again, another just little, this is a plug, I guess, for iPhone, not sponsored, but if you want to call me Apple, I really like the iPhone system, iOS system, because you can include in your emergency bypass, if the same number calls you twice within 5 minutes, it'll ring through that second time. So I've had that save my booty once before, where let's say they were using like a mother-in-law's phone to call me. I don't have the mother-in-law's number, and I really don't want to get too exhaustive of like, give me every single number they could possibly call me. That's too much work, but I can get pregnant person, partner, and then set my phone where if the same number calls within 5 minutes, it will ring through. Of course, estimated due date. I use this to organize my clients by. Of course, I'm not expecting them to have a baby on their due date, but it does help you plan backups and how many people you're going to take in a month, that sort of thing. Birthing location, and then who's the provider. So I want to know the name, who you're primarily seeing. Is it an OB or midwife? And where you're having your baby. That's really helpful for me. And then, of course, if I need to use a backup, it's good just to have that information there. Okay. Um, this, of course, is kind of a COVID specific question, but do you have any questions about planning for your birth during the COVID-19 pandemic? What are your expectations? It's good to note that different hospitals and different birthing locations, right, are going to have different policies. So, where I practice in Kentucky right now, we do not have birth centers. That's not an option. Home birth midwives, I typically know they're going to be pretty cool with whoever is going to be there, but the hospitals, of course, are different. So by knowing where they're giving birth, of course, I can kind of guide them and help them understand who could be on their team. Um, and just what questions do you have? I found people have lots of different questions. Do I have to wear a mask? What happens if I'm positive? All sorts of things like that. So I try to be general where they can just ask anything and we'll talk about it. And then I like to know just what's their current understanding of labor comfort measures? Is there anything they want to use that they know about? Like, oh, I've seen birth videos where everyone has, whatever, like a rice sock. I really want to use that. I want to know. And then if you're unsure, of what labor comfort measures, are out there. What particular techniques do you have for managing discomfort in everyday life? I find that one is really helpful if people are unfamiliar with the concept of comfort measures in labor, or if they haven't had a childbirth class yet and they just don't know. It can really help you to say well, if you have a headache, what are you doing to manage that headache? Find this is a really important question. Do you feel comfortable being touched? Like massage, hand holding, rubbing your feet, that sort of thing. I guess I could even specify this, right? Maybe like back massage, that sort of thing. And I just like to know, are they someone who's like, you can totally touch me, I don't care. It depends on the mood. I'm usually a touch me not, or I absolutely do not like being touched. I think that's just helpful for any doula to know going into labor. And then again, from your current knowledge, what are your birth preferences? And I reassure them we're going to go through this more in our prenatal meetings. And also, honestly, you probably are kind of already catching this, but these two questions really about comfort measures and what are your current birth preferences, that really tees me up to talk about childbirth education if they've not already considered that. So I can be sensitive to your needs. Do you have any personal, cultural, or religious beliefs I should be aware of? This has been very important in the past. I'm glad I asked it. And this question is a new one. Honestly, I wasn't even sure that I, as a doula, could ask something like this. But I think it's okay. I talked to a couple other doulas and they've all said oh yeah, I totally ask if you just have any transmissible diseases that I need to know about so I can protect myself. And this really came up. I've had a situation where, I I usually try to wear gloves, especially at that moment of birth, not really when I'm rubbing a back, but I've had a moment where some blood got on me. And that person, had one of these, diseases that you need to think about and blood transfer. And it hit me oh, I really should know water birth or just water labor would be another really good thing. We know there's probably going to be stool in the water, for example. You need to know if that person has hepatitis. You would need to know, okay, I might wear different types of gloves or have some different mindfulness about me. So again, is there anything I need to know about to take care of you in birth? I think that's a very relevant question. And then this came from this next question about safety or how else do you need support. I've started to see this pop up in just provider offices, which I really love. I don't know if you've seen say the urine sample cups, and it will say something like, if you are unsafe at home, you can use a red marker to initial your cup and we'll know to contact you, or we'll know to pull you aside during this visit and help you. And a person that a friend I have who's going to be a nurse midwife soon, she kind of helped me formulate this list. And again, I include, I currently feel safe, but thank you for asking. But I think that this is just helpful because you never want to assume anybody's status in life or position in life. So I think that's nice to have. And then of course, follow up, anything else you need to know before our meeting? Do you have any needs for physical items or services? Anything like that? That just kind of is a nice free for all. They can tell me anything that they need, and that's the template. So a couple people had asked me what my intake process was like. That's what I currently use. If you're not a HoneyBook user, currently Again, there is an offer in the description for you that you can try it out. But also, this process works perfect on Google Form, which is free. I've seen people just have an email they send. You could just have the questions you want, like say bold, numbered, and bolded in an email, and just ask the people to reply with the answers beneath. Um, you could ask these one-to-one in a prenatal meeting, but again, I've tried to really automate as much as I can outside of our prenatal meeting, so I can really focus that time on whatever we need to be talking about. So that's my process. I would love to hear about yours in the comments, or if you have any other questions for me, just let me know. Have a great day.